Okay folks, buckle up. Today on the Mysteria Archive, we're diving headfirst into the mysteries of Mars, the Phobos Incident and the Monolith Mystery. Get ready for a wild ride. It was the final phase of a high-stakes Soviet mission. In 1989, Phobos 2, a sophisticated probe hurtling through the void, closed in on Mars's most mysterious moon. A routine approach, calm telemetry, then radio silence. But before the connection died, Phobos 2 sent one last image, a thermal scan, blurry but strange. It showed a long dark shape, cylindrical, unnatural, drifting under the moon's surface. Scientists called it a shadow of unknown origin. A decade later, NASA would photograph something even stranger, a towering monolith standing alone on that same moon. And in 2008, another monolith, this time on Mars itself. To this day, no one can say exactly what Phobos 2 saw. Was it a glitch in an aging computer system, a cosmic game of light and shadow, or was it something watching, something that didn't want to be seen? Okay, let's be real. If a robot probe ever mysteriously vanished after sending a single spooky photo from deep space, that's exactly how I'd want a sci-fi movie to start. And guess what? It actually happened. Now, maybe it was just old Soviet tech doing Soviet tech things, buttons sticking, circuits frying, you know, the usual. But the timing of that final image, the shape of it, it's like the universe said, here's a riddle, good luck. And look, if that thing was just a shadow, it was the most photogenic shadow in the history of aerospace failure. If it wasn't, well then, we've got a lot more to talk about. So, grab your tinfoil hat or your science journal, whichever's closer. This is about to get weird. The mission that never came home. To understand the mystery, we need to understand the mission. In 1988, the Soviet Union launched Phobos 2, an ambitious probe aimed at unraveling the secrets of Mars's moons, Phobos and Deimos. These moons have always been oddballs, small, dark, irregularly shaped, and possibly not even native to Mars. Some even think they're captured asteroids or something else entirely. Phobos 2 carried a suite of advanced instruments, including 2 landers, one stationary and one mobile. The goal was to get up close with Phobos and study its surface, magnetosphere and the Martian environment. Everything went according to plan at first. The probe reached Martian orbit, performed several successful imaging passes and transmitted detailed scans of the red planet and Phobos itself. Then came March 27, 1989. Just as Phobos 2 was aligning for its final maneuver, descending to deploy the landers, it went dark. No signal, no ping, nothing. Soviet scientists scrambled. A technical investigation later pointed to a fault in the spacecraft's computer system. 2 of its 3 onboard processors had failed. The remaining systems couldn't maintain orientation, causing a full shutdown. Case closed, right? Well, maybe not. Because right before it lost contact, Phobos 2 transmitted that final image. An image showing something very large, very dark, and very much out of place, lingering near Phobos like a spectre. This wasn't just a lost probe, it was the beginning of one of space exploration's most persistent and strange conspiracy theories. I mean, 2 out of 3 computers crash right before landing? That's either the worst luck in space history or a cosmic prank. Now, I get it. This was the 80s. We're talking dial-up era tech. But Soviet spacecraft didn't just lose power after months of smooth sailing unless something really went sideways. And here's the thing. NASA's lost probes as well. It happens, but what makes Phobos 2 special is when it went silent, right before the landers were deployed. And right after sending that bizarre image. Coincidence, glitch, or a cosmic you shall not pass, shades of the Black Knight satellite. It's like Phobos was hiding something and didn't appreciate uninvited guests. Next up, we're taking a closer look at the last transmission, the image that kicked off decades of speculation, and let's face it, a whole lot of conspiracy-fueled Reddit threads. The image that launched 1,000 theories. If you ask believers where the mystery really begins, most won't point to the mission failure. They'll point to the picture. Just before Phobos 2 fell silent, it beamed back a thermal image. Now, thermal images are basically heat maps, grainy, low-res, and usually pretty boring. But this one was different. In the scan, a long cigar-shaped object appeared beneath or besides Phobos. Not crater-shaped, not jagged, smooth, uniform, measuring over 15 miles in length. It seemed to hover, or maybe hide, in the Martian moon's shadow. Soviet officials described it only as a shadow of unknown origin. And that phrase, well, it's done some heavy lifting over the years. To the scientific community, it was likely a transmission error, a thermal anomaly, maybe even a processing glitch from an overworked satellite. But to fringe theorists, this was something else entirely, a ship, an artificial object, a sentinel, proof that Phobos 2 saw something it wasn't supposed to. For years, the image made the rounds in magazines, forums, and late-night radio shows. Some claimed it was proof of an alien mothership parked just out of sight. Others said it was a defense system, an automated guardian orbiting Mars, watching. Whatever it wasn't supposed to be there. And to make things even weirder, it was the last image the probe ever sent, as if someone or something pulled the plug the moment it got too close. Coincidence? Perhaps, but let's just say the image didn't exactly calm the waters. Okay, you ever try explaining to someone that a grainy black and white thermal blur might be an alien spaceship and somehow keep a straight face? Well, because that's the internet's job description back in 1989. But seriously, that shadow of unknown origin line, that's pure gold. It's like calling Bigfoot the forest anomaly of indeterminate pedigree. Now, I'm not saying this was a space dreadnought, but if it was, it had the courtesy to strike a dramatic pose before Phobos 2 went dark. Now here's the weirdest part. That was it. No follow-up, no clearer image. It's just like the cosmos left us a teaser trailer, then cancelled the movie. Coincidence or cover story? Let's dig into what some say actually caused the silence, and why it might not have been mechanical at all. Enter the shadows, the alien defense hypothesis. Now this is where things take a sharp turn into the fringe. Because not long after the image surfaced, a theory began to circulate. Not in science journals, but in UFO circles, conspiracy forums, and the darker corners of late-night talk radio. The theory goes like this. Phobos 2 didn't malfunction. It was taken out. The cause? An alien defense system. According to this hypothesis, the strange object in the final image wasn't a rock or a thermal glitch. It was a ship or a drone. A massive, possibly automated sentinel designed to protect something on Phobos or Mars itself. Some even suggested that the probe got too close, that it was warned off with some kind of electromagnetic pulse or disruption. Others claimed it was destroyed outright. Its systems scrambled deliberately the moment it locked eyes with something it shouldn't have seen. And while there's no physical evidence to confirm these ideas, believers point to the pattern. Everything was going fine until that one image, and then silence. There's also the timing to consider here. During the Cold War, secrecy was currency. And could the Soviets have encountered something so anomalous, so unexplainable, that they chose silence over scandal? Critics will say this is wild speculation, and it is. But sometimes the absence of data is the data. Sometimes what we're not told is more revealing than what we are. Because here's the thing. If Phobos 2 had malfunctioned during a data transfer, or while orbiting Mars, or mid-course correction, that's normal. But to glitch right after imaging a mysterious object near the most suspicious moon in the solar system, even skeptics had to pause. Now look, I'm not saying there's an invisible alien drone up there zapping probes like a space-bound game of duck hunt. But if there was, there'd be one heck of a career twist for NASA, wouldn't it? Seriously though, this theory lives in that perfect sweet spot of plausibility and paranoia. No proof, but just enough weird timing to make you go, I mean, what is Phobos guarding exactly? Dust, rocks? Or is it the Martian version of Area 51? Or maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just the greatest coincidence in cosmic history. Or maybe, just maybe, we accidentally poked the wrong moon and it poked back. Next up, we look at something even stranger than a potential space defense system, a structure, a literal monolith on Phobos, seen by NASA. And yep, even Buzz Aldrin had something to say about it. So let's find out what he was buzzing about. The monolith and the Martian legacy. Just when it seemed the Phobos 2 story had cooled off, another mystery reignited the flame. And this time, it didn't come from a Soviet probe. It came from NASA. In 1998, the Mars Global Surveyor snapped a series of high-resolution images of Phobos. Among them was a strange structure, an upright rectangular formation casting a long, eerie shadow across the Moon's desolate surface. It was promptly dubbed the Monolith. The comparisons to 2001: A Space Odyssey practically wrote themselves. A tall, dark object, stark and geometric in an otherwise random natural landscape. It didn't look like something shaped by erosion or meteor impacts. Even astronaut Buzz Aldrin mentioned it in an interview, saying, "We should visit the monolith on Phobos. It's a very unusual structure." Which, let's be honest, is Buzz code for, yeah, that's weird. Now, some fringe theorists immediately connected this to the final Phobos 2 image. Was this the same object, glimpsed from a thermal scan and later revealed in full light? If so, why had no lander ever approached it? Why had no follow-up ever been announced? Others went further. They speculated that Phobos wasn't just a natural moon at all, but an artificial satellite, possibly hollow, possibly ancient, possibly Martian in origin. And just when the dust began to settle, something else turned up, this time on Mars itself. In 2008, NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter captured an image of a smaller but similarly shaped upright object on the Martian surface, another rectangular monolith, this time casting a clean shadow across the red rock below. Though far less prominent than its Phobos cousin, it was, again, geometric, solitary and oddly out of place. A coincidence or a pattern? The idea was popularized in books, documentaries and, of course, across internet forums. To believers, the monolith was evidence, a leftover relic from a long-lost civilization, or maybe a beacon, or maybe a warning. NASA, for its part, explained it away. The monolith was most likely a boulder, a lone large rock, oddly upright due to Phobos' weak gravity and strange terrain. But to many, that explanation only raised more questions than it answered. Because if it's just a rock, it's one that's been standing suspiciously tall at the center of some very big, very persistent questions. Okay, I'll say it. If there's ever a moon in our solar system that looks like it's hiding a sci-fi plot device, it's Phobos. Seriously, that monolith isn't just odd, it's unsettlingly deliberate, like a do not disturb sign for the entire solar system. And when Buzz Aldrin drops a line like, "We should visit that monolith," I mean, come on, that space speak for this rock gives me the creeps. Now sure, NASA says it's a boulder, but if I had $1 for every time someone called something strange just a rock, I could fund my own probe, and I promise I wouldn't stop right before the good part. And now we've got a second one on Mars. Guess what, folks? Mars monoliths now available in travel size. Patterns from orbit, a hidden Martian network. Just one monolith on a dead moon would be strange. Two on separate planetary bodies. That's where coincidence starts to wear thin. Both structures, one on Phobos, one on Mars, are unnaturally upright, rectangular and isolated. But it's not just their shape that raises eyebrows, it's their locations. Some researchers have noted that both monoliths sit in relatively geologically quiet regions, places unlikely to produce tall, sharp formations naturally. That's led fringe theorists to propose something far more speculative, that these aren't isolated anomalies, but part of a network, a planetary system. A kind of distributed installation with components on Mars and its moon, possibly relics of a long-lost Martian civilization, or maybe something not Martian at all. This is where the alien theory enters the frame. Now, some believe the monoliths may not be ancient ruins, but active technology, placed not by us or even by early Martians, but by extraterrestrials, monitors, beacons, markers left behind to observe our solar system or to signal something beyond it. And then there's the object seen by Phobos 2, a 15-mile-long shadow, smooth and uniform, hovering near the moon, right where the Phobos monolith would later be discovered. To believers, this wasn't just a fluke, it was contact. A ship, perhaps stationed at the edge of the red planet, or maybe a guardian, ensuring we don't get too close to whatever those monoliths are hiding. It sounds like science fiction, but so did black holes once upon a time. None of this is proven, but the patterns are tempting. Two geometric structures, one mysterious object, one lost probe, all clustered in the same corner of space. Okay, let's connect some dots. Two monoliths, one on Phobos, one on Mars, a vanishing Soviet probe, and a shadow that looks an awful lot like a giant spacecraft. That's not just odd, that's a pattern. If these were natural formations, sure, odd coincidence, but if they weren't, Maybe they're part of the same system, or worse, part of the same plan. You'd think if aliens were leaving calling cards, they'd make them obvious, but maybe subtle is the point. One on the planet, one on the moon, both just standing there, watching. And that thing Phobos 2 caught on camera. Maybe it wasn't a shadow. Maybe it was the owner dropping by to check in. Whatever's up there, it's not random, and if it is, the universe has got a very twisted sense of humour. Signals, silences, and Soviet secrets. Here's where the Phobos story takes on that delicious Cold War paranoia flavour, complete with missing data, cryptic officials, and a heavy dose of let's not talk about that. In 1991, a British television documentary featured a number of former Soviet scientists who had worked on the Phobos mission. What they claimed was startling. According to them, the object in the final Phobos 2 image, the one labelled a shadow of unknown origin, wasn't just curiosity. It was, in their words, not natural. One even suggested it had a structure, a form that resembled a spacecraft or object of artificial origin. But here's the kicker. No new images were ever released. No follow-up mission was greenlit, and no further official comment was offered by the Russian Space Agency. Just silence, radio silence. Conspiracy theorists jumped on this with both feet. They claimed that clearer images did exist, images showing more than the object in that final frame. Some believed these were hidden by Soviet authorities. Others suggested they'd been handed off to international partners, maybe even NASA, for quiet analysis. The silence, they argued, was the most telling part. After all, if the anomaly was just a camera glitch or heat smear, why not say so publicly? Why let rumours persist? In the absence of answers, theories bloomed like mould in a fallout bunker. Some say the Soviets were scared. They'd seen something unexplainable and opted to bury it rather than spark global panic. Others suggest international cooperation, an agreement to keep whatever was on Phobos a secret, at least until someone could explain it. Either way, the official record ends abruptly. One moment, a probe sending data. The next, silence. And then, a mystery with a shadow longer than Phobos itself. So, let me get this straight. We lose a probe. We get one weird photo. A few scientists say, yep, that's not natural. And then everyone goes mum. That's not science. That's the plot of a 70s thriller starring the late great Gene Hackman. Rest in peace, sir. I mean, if your toaster breaks, you open it up. You don't declare it a classified malfunction and toss it into the sea. But with Phobos 2, we got total radio silence. No extra footage, no follow-up. Just enough ambiguity to keep ready to wake for decades. And maybe that's the plan. Keep it vague, keep us guessing. Or maybe they really don't know what they were looking at. Up next, it's time to take a skeptical look at all of this. Let's pump the brakes just a little bit and see what the experts actually say caused the anomaly. Because hey, it might just be space doing what space does best, messing with us. Explaining away the Enigma. By this point, we've journeyed through missing spacecraft, eerie shadows and Cold War silences. But what if the simplest answer is the right one? Let's start with that infamous image. The shadow of unknown origin was captured by Phobos 2's infrared sensor, not a regular camera. That means we weren't looking at a photo in the usual sense. It was a heat map, measuring temperature differences, not shapes. But these images are notoriously noisy, especially when transmitted across nearly 200 million kilometers of space. In fact, the Soviet team reported that 2 of the probe's 3 onboard computers were malfunctioning. And this means backup systems were taking over, systems not designed to handle full-scale image processing. And one glitch in a single line of code could have produced all kinds of anomalies. Blurry shapes, overlays, ghost images. And skeptics also point to orbital geometry. What looks like a long object could be a shadow cast by the sun at an extreme angle. In a place like Phobos, with irregular terrain and next to zero atmosphere, shadows behave in unusual ways. Then there's the so-called monolith. NASA says it's just a boulder. And to be fair, large standing rocks aren't that rare on low-gravity bodies. And without erosion, weather, or earthquakes to knock them down, once something lands upright, it stays that way. The dramatic lighting? Pure Mars aesthetic. Even Buzz Aldrin's famous monolith comment, most likely a tongue-in-cheek nod to science fiction fans, not a call to arms. Still, the questions remain. Why did the mission fail at the exact moment it approached Phobos? Why has no other probe followed up on these findings? And why, decades later, do we still only have one fuzzy image and a whole lot of speculation? It's enough to make even skeptics squint at the stars. Alright, time to play devil's advocate, because not everything that's mysterious is extraterrestrial. Sometimes a shadow is just a shadow, and a monolith is just a fancy Martian lawn ornament. And thermal imaging is like the ink blot test of space exploration. The more you stare, the more your brain starts filling in the blanks, especially if those blanks look a lot like a UFO. And hey, I love a good conspiracy theory, but we've also got to give the hardware some credit, or in this case, some blame. Aging tech, corrupted data, weird lighting. It's a recipe for accidental intrigue. Still, that timing, that image, that silence. It doesn't prove anything, but it sure keeps the door open a crack. And if you've ever seen what lives behind those doors on the internet, well, buckle up. Refractions from the edge of the red planet. In the end, the Phobos Incident sits at a rare crossroads, a place where space science, Cold War secrets, and high-octane speculation all meet. On paper, it's a story about a failed mission, a technical hiccup, a missed opportunity. But beneath that dry report is something stickier, a question that won't quite let go. Because Phobos 2 didn't just fail, it failed right after spotting something strange. It didn't just glitch, it glitched right after sending an image that still baffles people to this day. And no one, not even Soviet engineers, not NASA, not even Buzz Aldrin, has ever offered a satisfying answer to what really happened. And maybe that's the point. In the silence left behind the lost signal, we filled the gap with possibility. Maybe that was just a product of the Cold War. Paranoia meets deep space. Or maybe it was something deeper, something primal. When we look at the stars, we see meaning. We look at shadows on alien moons and wonder what's watching back. And maybe Phobos really is just a rock, a captured asteroid, a dead, dusty satellite orbiting a red planet. Or maybe it's not. Maybe Phobos 2 saw something it wasn't supposed to. Maybe it knocked on the door of something ancient, something waiting, something that isn't quite ready to be known. And maybe, just maybe, that's why the next mission hasn't launched. Because if Phobos really is watching, we might not want to knock twice. You know what gets me? It's not the fuzzy photo, it's not the monolith, it's not even the alien defense theory, which, for the record, I'd still totally watch on Netflix. It's the silence. No official explanation. No second attempt. No clearer image in 35 years. That's not just a mystery, it's a decision. Now, whether that decision was made by science, agencies trying to save face, or by something a little more cosmic, well, that's the million-mile question. But one thing is for sure, Phobos has become more than a moon. It's a mirror. We look at it, and we see our fears, our hopes, and the lingering question that keeps humanity reaching outward. What else is out there? And more importantly, what's already watching us? Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this one. And let me know in the comments below of videos you'd like to see next. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It's free, and it really helps out our small channel. Okay, friends, until next time, stay curious.